For decades, horror cinema has followed a familiar formula. Cold-blooded killers appear and hunt down their victims one by one. This motif has become the, quote, trademark of many classics, such as Friday the 13th, Wrong Turn, and the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. However, Tucker and Dale vs. Evil breaks away from the traditional conventions of the horror genre, offering a completely fresh perspective. It is often said that the essence of comedy lies in tragedy, and director Eli Craig cleverly takes advantage of this idea, transforming the film into a story about the wrongful persecution of outsiders and the sheer stupidity of people. At the same time, it delivers a sharp satire on superficial judgments, when we only see the surface and ignore the core beneath. The film opens with the familiar hallmarks of the horror genre: an old, grainy videotape, gruesome farming tools, and a secluded wooden cabin. All of these elements immediately trigger the audience's expectations, shaped by countless traditional horror movies that they are about to face a deranged killer. But the first twist flips this assumption, introducing us to the so-called killers, Tucker and Dale. Tucker, played by Alan Tudyk, is a calm and tough man who always tries to handle situations in a reasonable way. Dale, portrayed by Tyler Labine, is a clumsy and awkward character, rough and rigid in appearance, yet far from dangerous. Together, the two lead us into the bloody chaos that unfolds in the latter part of the film. The story begins with a group of teenagers driving to a remote area in the West Virginia wilderness for a camping trip. Right from the start, Chad's conversation in the car subtly reveals what the director wants us to notice: deep-seated prejudices that still linger in certain people's minds.
Chad, just because you're not in your fraternity doesn't mean they're freaks.
Well, actually it does, Allison. You see, you're either Omega Beta or you're a freak.
On the way, running low on beer, the group stops at a small, isolated gas station in the countryside. It is here that they have their first direct encounter with Tucker and Dale, two brothers on their way to a newly purchased rustic cabin for a getaway. This first meeting is simple enough on the surface, yet under the shadow of ingrained stereotypes, the atmosphere turns tense. The seeds of misunderstanding are planted in both sides from the very first glance. This moment illustrates how easily we can judge others through the tinted lens of prejudice, ignoring their true nature. Dale, with his serial killer face, shyly raises a pickled egg in an innocent smile. Tucker, the burly older brother, beams with awkward happiness beside his dusty old cabin. No one, except the most amateur observer, could genuinely think they were some deranged, murderous duo. The performances of Alan Tudyk and Tyler Labine bring to life the comedic charm of two well-meaning but hapless men. They finally fulfilled their dream of owning a cabin in the woods, a place to relax and go fishing. But fate has other plans, as the same group of teenagers they encountered earlier crosses paths with them again that very night, setting the stage for the chaos to come. While Tucker and Dale are out night fishing by the lake, the group of college kids is camping nearby, a scene that feels straight out of a classic slasher movie. They sit around the campfire, recounting a grisly massacre that took place 20 years ago. The setup primes the audience to expect the second half of the film to spiral into a blood-soaked killing spree at the hands of a deranged murderer. But their worst fears seem to come true when they spot Allison, a sexy blonde friend in their group, being kidnapped by Tucker and Dale on a boat and taken away. In reality, this is nothing more than a catastrophic misunderstanding. The sight convinces the group that Tucker and Dale are savage backwoods killers, kicking off a chain reaction of misguided heroics. Instead of listening or seeking the truth, the students launch an ill-fated rescue mission. In the process, they end up killing themselves in a series of absurd, over-the-top accidents. These gruesome mishaps are staged to deliver moments that are both hilariously ridiculous and shockingly tense. At the heart of it all, the misunderstanding becomes the film's central engine, driving the bloody chaos forward. The latter part of the film follows the group's desperate attempts to reclaim their friend, with each member recklessly charging into random, fatal accidents. As the student body count suddenly rises, the voices of paranoia grow louder, and they become convinced they must kill the two hillbillies first. Choosing to strike preemptively, they embark on a deadly journey of their own. The film delivers a mix of gruesome deaths and humor, with an interesting touch in the soundtrack. Whenever the focus is on the students, the music turns dark and ominous, while scenes with Tucker and Dale are paired with brighter, more cheerful tunes. As events unfold, the truth slowly comes to light, and both sides attempt to sit down and share their perspectives. However, the roots of prejudice run too deep, turning the negotiation into a final settling of scores that closes the film.
You see, my parents, they were attacked by hillbillies just like him.
The director reveals the truth about the massacre 20 years ago. The real killer is finally captured right at the cabin's doorstep. The strange cycle of fate resurfaces once more, but unlike the past, this time the rope of death will take the villain away. Born in crime and ultimately destined to die in crime, the film delivers a satirical jab at the worn-out tropes of the horror genre, where rural killers are always portrayed as frightening and brutal. More than that, Tucker and Dale vs. Evil exposes one of humanity's greatest flaws, judging others by their appearance. No one is truly free from making snap judgments based on first impressions, because looks are the very first thing we register about one another. And in this story, that is precisely the root of every tragedy. Another message from the director is clear. Those who appear righteous may not be so, and those with rough, unattractive exteriors may hide a great deal of kindness. Yet the sobering truth is that even when we understand this lesson, it's difficult for people to escape their ingrained prejudices. It's a universal human flaw, a tragedy built into our nature. The film also, in its own way, offers a sense of justice for rural working-class characters often stereotyped on screen. It delivers not only uproarious laughs but also sharp wit, subtle dark humor, and clever irony to spotlight the weaknesses, absurdities, and hidden madness in human nature. Tucker and Dale vs. Evil offers a refreshingly different experience from traditional horror, blending bloody chaos with comedy in a way that's as thought-provoking as it is entertaining. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe to support the channel. Wishing you a great day and see you in the next video.